Okay. And yeah, I guess we're live. Um I posted the new schedule for my streaming and stuff uh on Twitter as well as in my Discord. So if you haven't checked it, I would definitely take a look. It comes into effect as of next week. So tomorrow is the last like normal stream for my last schedule. All I'm really doing is just as what we were talking about like last stream, just swapping out the Thursday and Friday streams, just switching them and making the Thursday one just a little later. Because, yeah, GBM content streams. So, uh, I'm not really sure which mobile game I want to play today. I want to find like a new one to try. Because like after doing the Heavens Burns Red, right, like, that was fun. I enjoyed that, but never really obviously found another one to try. I was thinking of playing Luminaria on the stream, but if I start a thing for Luminaria, that is effectively going to be like the entire stream because none of the ones that are left are short. They're all relatively long episodes, unlike some of the ones we had for episode 1 that were real short and sweet. So I gotta figure that out. I guess what I can start with is Fate. I still have a couple of story nodes I need to clear out. I'm just gonna throw on a beanie. Yeah, beanie. Yeah, let's do that. Fate. So I got some AP to burn here. And some SQ to grind up. Because I think next up on the events for Fate Grand Order is White Day. Pretty sure that's it. So I'd like to have all my ducks in a row, because White Day is effectively going to be a free skip, unless they do something real crazy, but I doubt that. And then I believe the next big thing we have after that, if it's not going to be story related, is going to be Anniversary. I think that's really it. So that's actually kind of nice. All right. So, let's get clearing here. So this is Alter Egos. Okay, I can do that. Clear the entire list. Okay. It's definitely bringing King Protea. And if I bring Vich, I can definitely get away with a double burst. Okay, so we'll pack that. Pack that. The 3 completely limit broken case scopes make my life a lot easier. I'll say that much. And not who I want to click. There we go. Okay. It's gonna have to be a 4-star then. Right, 16. I'm thinking an SSR Craft Essence worth 12. I'm huge brained. Where's Zenobia? There you are. Alright, let's do that. Oh, I was talking to my buddy the other day about the new Girls Frontline stuff, because he was thinking about picking it back up and getting back into it, and I decided to take a look at like new merch and stuff for it, because even though I don't play Girls Frontline, they got lots of good merch. I'll give them that. Yeah, their newest Rosa statue, I was looking at, like, oh, it looks pretty good, and I saw the price tag, and I was like, oh boy, I ain't buying that. Oh boy. That is way, way too expensive for my blood. Alright, so 3 waves. Okay. So I should be able to get away with 1, 2, 3. And then that'll give me overcharge for the next turn. And I should be able to, as long as the next node isn't all like casted, I should be able to drop Bitch Phantasm. You play on JP? Yeah, Ryan, totally. I have been playing Fate Grand Order since the damn game plus a month since the game released. So, yeah, I've been playing on JP the whole time. It is all casters. Of course, why wouldn't it be all casters? Why make my life easy? Alright, I guess we'll drop King Protea this time, because King Protea go fucking burr. 1, 2, 3. She is one of those servants I'm really glad I got my hands on, because holy smokes, she is a clutch character sometimes. Her stupid theoretical max HP cap helps a ton. Helps she does damage too. A lot of damage. Alright, round 3. Let's get Morgan back up to spec. Alright, 1, 2, 3. And that's that fight in a nutshell. Cool. I can just repeat this for the next 2 clears. You know, when I saw Morgan and her kit originally, I knew she was going to be better than Arjuna. I knew it. And I see people bringing her to all sorts of challenge quests and stuff because, although, yeah, Arjuna hits harder, Morgan's just better. Okay, I guess it doesn't really matter who I pick here. And again. Alright, so phase 1. 1, 2. Yeah, I have no idea who even like to expect for White Day for Fate Grand Order. I think the biggest issue that I have with Fate Grand Order is how tight-lipped they are, but even like throwing teasers or stuff out before the content. Like the only time that you'll actually know what's gonna drop next in Fate Grand Order is if you go super in-depth reading all of the chapter content. Like, for all the content between, like, A and B. Like, people were assuming that Bazette was going to be showing up for Valentine's because a whole bunch of hints that were dropped in the previous events talking about stuff, right? As someone that doesn't really speak JP, right, I have no way to guess. And even then, we've had people guessing and are completely wrong even based on past content, right? So, Fate Grand Order is one of those games where there is no hints at all, and it's completely effectively... Oh, shit. Wrong character. Oh well. Honestly, I think Morgan should still have the DPS, though, because she fucking slaps. Well, let's see. If we're gonna do this, who has a buster? King Protea has a buster, eh? Okay. Do it. Attack up. Let's say we... Oh yeah, he's fucking dead. So we'll paralyze you. There. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. Oh boy, KP, calm your titties. Morgan's wife, who Arjuna can go to bed. Like, Arjuna's not bad, it's just he's such a selfish, burst-oriented berserker. Which makes sense, that's kind of the point of the entire berserker archetype. But, yeah, I don't know, it's just like, Morgan just kind of showed up, it's like, oh yeah, I do like 15-20% less damage than Arjuna, but look at all the utility. Charisma, you know, I got that, a whole bunch of really good self-steroids, all these things, right? It's like, there's really not much of an argument there. Like, Arjuna is super selfish. He does what he's supposed to do really well, but as soon as you start fighting opponents that have you know, multiple break gauges, and you have to think more about the long-term team stuff, he kind of falls off, because you got to build the rest of your team to support the fact he has no team effects at all, right? It's effectively single DPS and then 2 supports, whereas with Morgan, it's like you have a DPS, but has some utility for the team, and then 2 supports, or potentially even another DPS, because the utility Morgan brings with the charisma. So yeah, and the Noble Phantasm boost, right? The overcharge, holy crap, is that useful. But yeah, okay, so I did that thing again where I misclicked. Well, not really misclicked per se, but clicked the wrong skill, because I'm talking and not really thinking through what I'm doing. So, how's the best way to approach this? If I do King Protea this turn, it probably won't kill them. Alright, let's just use Vich and burn the turn. I'm so used to farming like specific nodes, especially with Valentine's just ending. The muscle memory is like really, really hard to fight. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So man, my card draws are actually garbage. Like, I guess it doesn't help that I'm running Vich, who's like only good against the boss for this node, but like, holy crap. Okay, and now I steroid the crap out of Morgan, and this should be fine. Morgan. Morgan. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And that's that fight in a nutshell. I don't even know who I would want. Like, when it comes to new units for Fate Grand Order, there's like a few characters that I really, really want to see, but I don't really see them being added anytime soon. Like, I would love a prototype Rin, right? I would love Femgil, right? Her, like, I've seen so much fan art for a Femgil, and then we had that instance with Angelica, I think it was, in Prisma Ilia that had the Gil equip, right? And there's a lot of cool instances for that kind of thing to, you know, just kind of exist, and I like that, right? Arc, I'd love a 5-star Arc to play around with and, you know, kind of see, maybe even Archetype Earth, right? I would love to see proper corrupted Sakura, right? Instead of these like spin-offs we get with Kama, right? But the chance of seeing them is so unbelievably low. I'd like to see, you know, like some stuff we never got to see with normal Fate, you know, like where's our like Alter Nero or something, you know? That'd be cool, actually. Especially Summer Nero with like the Gundam bits and stuff, that altered. Although I guess technically you could make the argument that Mother Harlot is effectively Nero Alter, but yeah. Okay, so I can actually recycle my my team layout for this because it's effectively the same shit. I just have to remember my skill order. And actually, with me finishing this node, I'll actually have gotten all the same ports from this chapter. I just like servant who I get. My luck kind of sucks. Yeah, And that's fine. That's like the case for most people with Fate Grand Order. It's just make do with what you get because RNG in this game is so garbage. Like, yeah, they added the pity system, but who the hell is going to be able to get like 900 Saint Quartz as a free-to-play? That is almost, I think, over a full year. That's like a year and a couple of months worth of all Saint Quartz given to free-to-play players. You pretty much cannot roll in Fate Grand Order as someone that spends exactly $0 for like a year and take advantage of the pity system they added. I'm glad they added a pity. It is great to see that after like fucking 6 years, they finally deigned to give us pity. But they made it so unbelievably steep for free-to-play players. This is like, yeah, suck it up, Buttercup. Okay. Oh, you know, Alright, I want to see if Tamamo with the overcharge is enough to clear this. Let's find out. This is going to be neutral with overcharge with 3 attack buffs. Maybe. Or just survive. No, okay. Okay, good. Good to know. And then turn 3, I have Morgan and KP to drop the rock. Not that it's necessary for both of them, apparently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Completely overkill in the buff department. I don't even think KP is going to be able to do anything. But let's see. If she doesn't have to, then I'll just KP on turn 2 instead of gambling on Tamamo. Okay, no, there's a little bit of survival in there, so I guess it'll kind of depend on my cards. Morgan's crit is just so good. Alright. And do I actually have the AP to keep going? Oh, I do. I have enough to clear it. Nice. Right, AP is like half for these things. I thought it was still full price, so I'm like 40 something AP. I'm not going to be able to do this. But surprise. Okay. HP stack. Go. Then we'll do Morgan. Okay. Attack. Attack. Drop Tamamo. Oh. I'm really excited for Rune Factory 5. I don't think I've been this giddy for like a game release for a hot minute now. Let's see, what was the last big one? Cyberpunk, I think, actually. I think Cyberpunk was the last time I felt like legitimately giddy about a game. I don't even know why I feel like this about Rune Factory. It's not like it's something I haven't played before, right? Cyberpunk was a big deal because it was like the first big game of its kind of thing, and I was super hyped up for it. It looked so good. I don't know why I feel like this about Rune Factory. I guess it's just because I haven't played a Rune Factory game in a long time now. Last time I played it was on the 3DS with Rune Factory 4. So I think it's just happy to see an old franchise I really like kind of making a comeback. And I was talking to a buddy of mine actually in my Final Fantasy free company. And we were talking about Rune Factory. And I mentioned, like, I had been reading the dev blog for the game because I realized that the developers have actually, or the localizers, I should say, have left a relatively detailed, like, dev blog for stuff that they've done for the game. And I'm actually really impressed. I will say, when it comes to localized games, I always have preferred Xseed over, like, Nisa or the other companies, just because when I play an Xseed game, there's sometimes, like, there's bugs, but it's very rare compared to the other companies. The translation quality is really nice, and they have a good selection of IPs. Like, Nisa has all of the IPs, effectively, in comparison. But, like, when it comes to playing Xseed games, I've always had, like, a good experience. So I'm really happy that RF5 is being localized by them. So, that's, yeah. I really wish that they would take over localization for things like Disgaea, though. Like, God, there's so many bugs with that. Thinking Xseed and Nisa, I really hope that if in the future we ever see new Artanelico games, that Xseed localizes those as well. Not that I think that'll ever happen. I'm pretty sure that IP is dead in the water. But a man can dream. A man can dream. 時期神戸を垂れよ恐怖は希望まで何人通るにあたわず Okay. Wave 2. Charisma. Attack wide and go to Mamamoo. So what to play after I clear this? Luminaria, I'll probably sit on the couch and play that tomorrow and unwind. I could arguably play Azure Lane after this, because I have some of that new event that I still need to play through. I think I'll do that, actually. I've been looking for a little bit of time to finish grinding that event out and get the hard mode stage, or not the hard mode stages, but the part 2 stages completed, because I did all the part 1 stuff like right away. And then when the part 2 stuff dropped, I never cleared those up. So for me, it's a good translation, the most important part. Yeah, no, so 2 parts for me for localization for games. 2 important things. 1, the game stability. When there's a lot of bugs and the game is difficult to play and it's like buggy and shit, I hate that. I don't care how good the translation is. I don't care if you had people that were fluent in both languages, source and destination language, translating your game. If the game is broken and busted, I will hate you. I will hate the game, and I like, that's it, man. And yeah, the other one's translation. If the game plays unbelievably well, super stable, but the translation looks like someone just threw it at DeepL and just copy-pasted it, or even, you know, Google MTL, nah, ain't about that life. You gotta obviously have both of them. And it's, I hate Nisa for that so much, because almost every single game that they port over and localize for the West has bugs. Not like a bug, but like bugs, right? I ran into, granted, it's a much older problem. I think as the games have started like kind of reaching past like 2017, it's become a lot more stable with their games. But back when I was kind of building my opinions of all these companies, which ones I liked, which ones I don't like, things like that, Nisa was first and foremost. Nisa game comes out, bugs. Translation, not bad. Understandable, grammatically correct, more or less true to source, okay. And I say more or less because there are some examples in Nisa's past where some things were changed for no reason other than they could. But overall, you know, it was just when a game came out and there were bugs. Actually, the one that got me the most personally was the bug in Artanelico 2, where I've mentioned it a couple of times, I think, now here and there on the streams, but when you got to a certain boss in Artanelico 2, if you didn't beat the boss within a certain amount of turns, your game would just freeze. Because when they localized it, they didn't properly change one of the strings. So when the game tries to load it into memory and bring it up, so it goes, hey, this is the skill the boss is using, it just crashes your game. And the only way that you can beat the game or play past that point specifically, you over level so you can kill the boss before the turn timer reaches that amount, or you mod the game to fix the bug. And it's just like the devs, or the localizers, I don't know how they didn't catch that, right? Clearly they were using a dev account just to see if the boss worked, and they didn't actually check it, right? But that was an actual like game halting bug. It was kind of a big deal. Oh, hey man, hey Alan, what's up? Meanwhile, I'm still dreaming that Dot Hack comes out as an MMO for global. Yeah, okay, so Dot Hack would be a very interesting game to release as like an MMO. If you've played, like, okay, I played the Dot Hack games that were on the PS2, and when it released on Steam, I picked up the Dot Hack, the trilogy or collection pack, whatever. So the only thing I can see with that type of game not really clicking if it released as an MMO, it's a little dated in terms of its mechanics. I'm not talking the games, I'm talking about the game Dot Hack. As a theoretical exercise, the game is really interesting, it has depth to it and everything, but in terms of what players expect from MMOs today and in general, like gameplay, progression, and mechanics, no, that would not work. I still think that if they're gonna go for any retro MMO to remake, it should be Ragnarok. Just because if you're gonna gamble, just gamble with the big boy. Just take Ragnarok and just go, we overhauling this to make it modern, and we're keeping this the class growth system and the complete unknown to find your job stuff. Just good luck, have fun. There was an MMO, but it launched in Japan only and it shut down only after a year or so. Yeah, I wonder why did it shut down? Curious. Let's claim my goodies. Slowly approaching the magical 321. Not that I really need it, because that's all just like the statues and stuff. Alright, so I'm only missing 14 St. Quartz from the story. Cool. How much have I got on me? I'm back up to 147. Nice. I think I got some summon tickets as well. Yeah, I do. Do I throw a couple of tickets to try to get King Protea NP2? Do I do it? What are the chances I get King Protea and 3 tickets? Tree of Savior's RO remake. Tree of Savior captured some of the charm of Ragnarok Online, but it didn't capture, I think, enough of it. And I don't know if that's because, like, you just can't capture that same nostalgic feeling that older MMOs had, or if it just wasn't executed well enough. Dot Hack on my old PSP and full JP. That's dedication. Alright, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to throw a few tickets. Fingers crossed. I doubt I'm going to get anything worthwhile in here. It'd be neat if I got, NP2 King Protea, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. Probably a craft essence with this roll, if I even got, something new. Oh, hey, yeah, I could definitely use that, actually. That's not bad. I believe I've come out on top with these 3 tickets with that craft essence alone. All right. How strong do you believe CBC will not have a new male servant? Frankly, for FGO White Day, I have no idea what to expect. I feel like we're probably going to see a new male literal Who, and perhaps some costumes for some male characters. Other than that, though, I really don't see much happening for it. Honestly, like, it's Fate Grand Order. White Day's never really been a big thing for it. Yeah. Right. There it is. All right. Time to turn on a game that I rarely ever play on stream. Yeehaw! Actually, I think this is the first time I've ever played Azure Lane on stream. But, yeah, as I was mentioning earlier, I do want to get some of the new event stuff out of the way, because I haven't cleared it yet. Okay, sortie. Yeah. Ugh, right. I think you still need, yeah, you still need some buff. Okay, that should be enough, I think. Yeah. Cool beans. Alright, now I should be able to sortie just fine. Sortie, B1, yeah, I'm trying to burn oil. Let's do that. Okay. We might get Zeus. That is a dreamer take if I've ever seen one in my life. Don't get me wrong, it would be cool to get Zeus, but chance of that happening is unbelievably slim. Yeah, we're more likely to get a male gender bend version of Tiamat than we are Zeus on fucking White Day. I swear to God, if we get a male gender bend version of Tiamat, I'm uninstalling Fate Grand Order live on stream. They show not to want print how for gods as is, pseudo, someone's base. I'd really like to see Aphrodite, honestly. That was some good sprite work. I'm actually really glad I didn't stream my Azure Lane rolls for the new UR, because holy, I got screwed. When I rolled for the Ironblood UR, I got her in 20 rolls, and then I got enough copies to max her by 60. The UR, I had to pity. It was pain. I actually only got a few of the SSR raid ups, and I actually didn't even get one of them. I got one of them, like 3 copies, and the other one got nothing. My raid up this time was garbage. I just gotta work my way back up because I'm out of cubes now. Oh man. Normally I wouldn't even be playing the Azure Lane event. I treat this mostly as a log on, you know, quickly do my dailies and turn it off kind of thing. But after using all of my cubes trying to get the new UR, kind of need to replenish all of my stocks there. So I'm actually like sort of forced to play the game to kind of build everything back up, and then I can go back to coasting and waiting for a new Ironblood event. If you couldn't tell from my fleets I have available, I'm a big fan of Ironblood. It's kind of the only reason I really play this. The designs are really, really cool. So, is Zeus an old man? Like, really? Yeah, I'm not making him a absolutely just decrepit old man. You know, looks like he actually needs to just, you know, keel over and die. Like, thinking characters in FGO, like, I remember when Li Xuan got released. Like, that was so out of nowhere. Right, people have been talking about wanting him, and then they just kind of admit, like, he's never going to show up. Then all of a sudden, randomly during a New Year event, guess who shows up? Legendary 1-inch punch himself. It was so weird, right? And there's just so many cases of Fate bringing out completely unexpected and random characters that I just don't even try to guess anymore. I'll throw in, might be really cool if it was this character guesses, but I'm never going to take any vested interest in a guess. Like, the data mining people for Fate all, like, buggered off after a while, and they just keep it within their little circles now. I remember back when they actively, like, mined and leaked the game. Those were the days. Oh, boy. I wonder, is the game too loud, or is it adequate volume? I can't tell. It's at the same audio balance as all my other mobile games are, so it should be fine. But as I don't have any loop back on it, I can't tell. And I just gotta get that one chip on the side there for my full clear. And then it's just boss rush it. Yeah. I'm looking forward to starting next week's stream schedule. It's actually going to be really fun. And as I mentioned, I do have something planned for content, GBM specifically next month. So, everything just really coincided really well for the schedule change. Oh. Oh. Thinking Bandai Namco games, I hope Tales of Luminaria, like, picks up a little more. Like, we're seeing people, like, pick it up and start to play it, and the community's kind of slowly growing. But I really hope it kind of gets, like, a breakout moment where it becomes really big. Because, honestly, the game itself is in a really good spot right now. It's just because the player base is relatively small compared to a lot of other titles. It's obviously, like, concerning. I actually think I should double check what happened to Tower of Fantasy. I remember that game was like super hyped up, and I haven't heard a peep about it. I'll check while I'm doing this next run here. Where is my Kingdom for a web browser? Let's see. So it's released in China, but they don't have the English version. Oh yeah, right, and it's like region locked too, if I remember correctly. Oh, Tower Fantasy canceled the global release. Ah, that's hilarious. Why? Oh my god. Oh, I gotta read that article. That sounds like a goddamn read if I ever heard one. Old Master Lee was there in Gouda Gouda, and there's lore information about Lee, and then you get the art form. Like, yeah, but there's lots of characters we've seen where we get, like, almost full sprite sheets, and they never release, right? It's actually more of a rarity when they fully release, right? It's like, the only times we have seen a character, or rather, I should clarify, even though we've had scenarios where there are enemies in the game that have a full sprite sheet and a battle sprite, there have been some cases where they still don't get a summonable version of them. It's rare, but it's happened before, right? So even if, you know, we got a brand new chapter that showed us, you know, Archer Heracles with his battle sprite and everything, that is no guarantee is going to be added to the game. Alright, it's Fate Grand Order is the biggest crapshoot at, like, in the history of mobile games. It's crazy. Remember Chapter 5 showed Saber Demon mode took ages to release them. Yeah. That's Fate Grand Order for you. They do whatever they damn well please. I can't remember, was this a 54% map? No, 34, so I gotta do one more run after this so I can just kill the boss. Cool. Alright, time to read that article about Tower of Fantasy canceling its English release. What's up with that? Um, let's get something else going here while I finish reading this. It doesn't seem like they actually provided much of a reason. It was just like, yeah, we're just gonna kind of cancel it. That was it. That's fucking weird. Ah. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. So, I think it's not so much that they canceled the international release, but it's they never had a plan to. It's just assumed that there was because one of the distributors of the game files had an entry for a global version, and it didn't actually have confirmation. I'm pretty sure Archer Heracles will be summonable if you summon before after all. Hey, you know what? Fate Grand Order Arcade can definitely use another Archer servant. Because you know that's where he's going to end up. I can almost guarantee you as well, the long-awaited Tsukihime collab. It's 100% going to be an arcade. And we're just going to get to watch as they get Arc and all of these like high-demand servants. I hate Fate Grand Order Arcade for existing, frankly. Its existence tilts me. I really need to get rid of some of these bullets. So let's do that real quick because they are eating up my inventory space. That's so many level 1s. Oh shit. Okay, hold on. Let's do this now. I don't want to keep having to go back every few minutes. Doc. Yeah, sure. I'll dump some bullets into you. Come on. XP, you're pushing your way all the way up. Let's go. Bullet. We'll do the same to you. Bullet. Okay. And I'll choose you between the two of them because I just need someone to burn a bullet off. Go. Okay, and I have a couple of gold bullets to burn as well. Sure. Oh, I don't have the coins. Do I have the coins now? No, it costs 10k. I don't have 10k on me. I should get my daily missions in. Maybe I'll get from that. Send. Quick skill. And research. Alright, so many sources of gold. Do I have 10k yet? Wow, I definitely don't have 10k yet. How about now? I'll have to claim a couple of these, actually. Alright, I got 10k. Let's go get rid of those bullets. There. And I just need some more gold so I can finish the other ones. I should do my 3 daily summons on there as well once I'm done farming. Sortie. And back to hell. Okay, that'll make my life a little easier. You just hate it because you can't play them, they only exist in Japan. Time to emigrate. I ain't emigrating to Japan in the current world situation. I'll stay here in Canada. And it's not so much I hate it because it's exclusive to Japan. It's like a double-sided thing. So I hate the fact that it's effectively a physically and like it's a region locked, landlocked thing that contains content for media I really enjoy. Right? There's definite dislike, right? Definite dislike from that. I'm not going to say there isn't. But the big one for me is the fact that so much development and resources were spent on it, and when it was like, oh yeah, hey, I like, we get you put a lot of money into this, and it kind of sucks that, you know, arcades are kind of dying because of COVID. Maybe you should eat your losses. Maybe you should release this globally through a platform like Steam, which supports this kind of stuff. Maybe release it on consoles, make it available for other people, you know, make your investment really grow. They're just like, nah, arcade cabinets only, bruh. They had the chance to make something really, really good for Fate. Like, really fucking good for Fate. If they had released arcade on major consoles as playable, if they had released it on PC through Steam or some other, you know, launcher, even their own, like, you know, proprietary one, whatever. But if they had made it accessible to a wider audience overseas after COVID came along and kicked everybody's butt, it would have done so friggin' well. Because at the end of the day, it's not a bad game. From what I've seen, it's relatively solid, minus the obvious power creep. But, like, they didn't. They just kept it there. And they'd keep putting characters that people really want in the mobile game that's thrived for years, that people have invested tons and tons of time into. Instead, they're releasing it in the arcade version to try to get people to go to play that to keep their investment afloat. I get it. You don't want to feel like you wasted money. But you had so many avenues open to you to make the game do unbelievably well, to watch your money literally get printed by itself, and you did not want to do it. And that's fine. But fuck you. Like, geez, that's all it comes down to. They had the opportunity. They had everything. They just decided they would rather not. And that is their prerogative. It's just fucking garbage. Just like how I hate games have USEU when they say global. Well, like, I definitely agree that some developers should definitely take a little more attention to how they name their server clients. You know, like, if you're going to release a game in just the Asia regions, call it Asia, don't call it global, right? If you're going to release a game in just the western part of the world, North America, perhaps call it North America, don't call it global, right? So I do agree with you on that. But that's definitely, like, just a really stupid developer thing, and I don't like throwing shade at developers, because as a developer, not for games, but software developer, I know how much of a pain in the ass it can be based on, you know, constrictions that you're working with, and just general, you know, the people up top making decisions that can be kind of maybe not so well versed in some stuff. But, like, why are we getting games even today, even like just a couple of days ago, right? We have a mobile game release and it does not have support for people from outside of the country playing it. You play it in a different time zone, the game is just broken and busted beyond repair. Why is that still a thing? This isn't like 2010 where we're just starting to dip our toes into software development for international audiences. It's fuck 2022. We have so much at our disposal now for, like, international, like, playing games, like, from any country on any platform we want, and it seems to only be the devs from Japan that are just like, yeah, whatever, we don't care, play it on JST or suffer. Why are you like that? What possessed you to wake up in the morning and make that decision? It baffles me to no end. There's been a few mobile games in the past I really wanted to enjoy. One of them that comes to mind, Tokyo Dolls. That had a really interesting rhythm-based combat system. Really nice graphics. The OST was pretty good. The UI was shiny. I liked that game, but you could not play it if your phone was not synced to JST. It would physically kick you from the game if you ever tried to connect to the server without having your time zone set to JST. and it was a real pain in the ass, right? And it's just like, that one I'll give a pass to, because that was quite a few years ago, right? And that's kind of one of those, the devs are still kind of dipping their toes into releasing mobile games internationally. I'll give you a pass. But if they do it today, you're getting no mercy from me. You're just going to get me going, why do you exist? What possessed you to make this game? Why are you so stupid? That's pretty much it. If you're going to release something, just have the decency to know that people outside of the regions you expected to play it are going to play it. You don't need to give them language support options. You don't need to make, 250 language packs for every single potential language and dialect there is on the planet. For the love of God, at least let them play the damn thing. I'm thinking about mobile games coming over to the West. I know a lot of people for some reason, it's like been really recently. Maybe it's just because I've been talking about it, so Google has just picked up on me saying it, so I'm getting more links and just seeing more stuff related to it. But people have been talking about, I've seen a Pretty Derby getting a North American release, and it's effectively just turned into the discussion of no one can afford the licensing versus it will make so much money, the licensing will be peanuts. And not to talk about Pretty Derby, but that concept of licensing. It's so many games never find their way over here because of licensing crap. And it ticks me off. That's why when there is a game that can be released here and is playable here, and it isn't for whatever arbitrary reason, region lock, time zone locks, whatever, it's just like, there are games out there with actual legitimate issues with coming over here to be playable, but you decided you didn't want to be playable. That is a new level of just... One of my Grand Blue guildmates just posted a photo of them playing Elden Ring on their brand new monitor. It's a ultra wide. Thing is, that is a wide fucking monitor. Holy crap. That's like actually the size of all three of my monitors lined up, effectively. Because he has the same Xbox controller I do, and I'm just like eyeballing it. But his one ultra wide monitor is effectively the same as my three monitors, just like a little bit cut off the edges. That is way too much monitor. I think I'm going to finish the normal mode maps and then switch over to something else. I can only take Azure Lane in very small doses. The gameplay is so brain dead. But I guess that's like one of its big draws, is because its entire point is more like a collector game in the vein of like CanCall. And the gameplay is meant to be much more simplistic versus another collector like Girls Frontline, where it's definitely more gameplay oriented than collector oriented. I used to play a lot of GFL, but it just got way too, I guess, competitive, I think is the way to put it. And I just kind of stopped, because as fun as it was, as nice as it was collecting characters and building them up, there comes a point where it's just, I hate, like, I vividly remember streaming when I was farming Grape when she first got released onto the global client. And I sat there on the same map grinding for hours and hours and hours and hours to get a single goddamn drop. And that wasn't even the worst part, right? Like that is nothing for GFL, right? Like I'm technically lucky. I got her only after a few hours instead of the people that grinded it for days and didn't get anything, right? And it was kind of at that point I realized, like, I should probably stop playing this so committedly. And then the new Russian guns dropped. I rolled them and just, I'm done. The game was fun, but so long, and thanks for all the fish. And now we have the new, the 4 new games from the, Mika and, or Micah, however you pronounce their dev team name, and GFL IP. And what, Girls Bakery, or whatever. Then you have GFL 2, Project Neural Cloud, and then another game as well. I just don't see much of a reason for people to still be playing GFL when you have a direct sequel coming out soon. Some IPs just can't be borrowed, especially games that handle lending even for cash. Well, okay, so it's not so much that though. Like, okay, how to best explain this? So when my major complaint is mostly boiled down to when a game developer creates a game, right? And let's say they know in advance the licensing won't work for overseas. They know before they release it that there's no way this is going to be released overseas. What do? They region lock it, they time zone lock it, and then they release it in their country. On one hand, I can understand that. Why worry about creating systems and creating all of the fail-safes and stuff for multiple regions and time zones and everything when you could just release it internally and just lock it to your stuff? It makes some aspects of dev easier. But if you know, like, people are gonna want to play it even then, like, it's just such a dick move to completely lock it down, right? And when there's games that you release and you go out of your way to lock them down, it's just like you're actively saying to international fans, suck lemons. You know, it'd be like they release a we were talking about this before, Mana. Let's say they decide to release a Rance mobile game, but they decide to region lock it, JST time zone lock it, and it has to geolocate you in the country of Japan to even boot. Why? Why would you do that? What is the purpose of this? Right? You know that there are fans of that series outside of the country. Why would you do this? Right? But there are some devs that do that kind of crap, right? Not for that IP, obviously, but just in general. And that's where my complaint is. It's not so much that, you know, it's not so much that games don't get released overseas. I can respect licensing is actually an active bitch, but with that in mind, why the hell are we still region locking games that are released, you know, mobile? It's just, if you can download the game and run it, who cares where you're connecting from? It's free money for the dev. Why do they actively turn that away, right? Like, if Pretty Derby was region locked and time zone locked, right? People would still go out of their way to play it, but it would have a lot less players because there's too many hoops to jump through to play it. Why did that game, you know, decide to not eat into the licensing thing and just lock everything down? But yeah, you are right, and a lot of Japanese devs, IP holders in general, I should specify, are very, very, very close to the chest with their IPs, and they really don't want to see anyone take it and use it for stuff. If they don't have 100% control, ain't enough. FGOA not making more money. My sis knows this food salad only yeah. Okay, so my point with FGOA is more like they clearly want a ROI, return on investment. They put a ton of money into developing the engine, getting the arcade cabinet set up, getting the arcade cabinets placed in the different places of business for them, getting their dev team, service team, all these things set up to make FGOA work. And again, I respect that. Cool beans. But they built it for the arcade cabinets, and it's I don't know the underlying engine it's built on because I haven't done a ton of research into FGOA, but it's safe to assume whatever they built the game on to put it onto an arcade cabinet has the ability, with some perhaps minor optimization tweaks, to export the game to also run on PC, potentially even consoles with a little further tweaking involved. My thing with FGOA isn't so much, you know, they're not making enough money by only having it in Japan on arcades, because that was the case that they would have closed it down if it was in the negatives. It's clearly making money, hence the constant development going into it. I'm just saying, instead of them sitting on a stack of, you know, 10 $100 bills, they could have, you know, a stack of 50,000 $1,000 bills if they released it globally on multiple platforms. Sure, it would take a little bit more investment to get there because you'd have to make it actually work on PC and consoles. But now, instead of just having tiny little locations on your tiny little island in a corner of the world that can play the game and give you money, you now have everyone that can give you money. Right? If it was just a digital game that was region locked to Japan, it would still have a bigger audience than the arcade crew. Because that's the thing. You gotta like Fate Grand Order. You gotta like arcades. You gotta like paying to play your arcade games. You have to like paying to play your arcade games and then paying to roll the gacha in the arcade game you just paid to play. Those are four very niche points that all kind of combine into a very tiny little niche circle. But if you release it on other platforms, all of a sudden you remove the two big issues. You gotta be in Japan and like arcade games. Now it's just, you gotta like the Fate IP and like gacha. Yeah, paying to... Imagine that. Imagine you roll a character you really like, and they have a service in Japan where they'll print out the card and send it to you in the mail, and you pay a premium for that. I guarantee you, audiences outside Japan would, no questions asked, pay for that kind of service. No questions. I would love to have physical cards for some of my favorite characters. Oh, didn't mean to hit my mic. Some cards for my favorite characters, you know, sitting on my desk or stuff, or using it as like decoration for things. Sure, and I would pay for the service. But they don't even offer that. They didn't go the extra few steps to do that. And the other thing is, if they had actually gone through those steps to make it available through other sources than arcade, all of this fuck arcade sentiment would go down drastically. Because no longer can people outside of that small niche circle of people that can, you know, go to the arcades, pay for the arcades, all these things, that circle is now way, way bigger. And there's less reason to complain because more people have access to this service. You'll still obviously have the few outspoken that don't have a console, don't have a good enough PC, whatever. But they're going to be so much fewer than now, where it's effectively everyone. Funny how Konami has some great IPs but don't know what to do with it. Well, that sounds like a lot of IP holders. They have amazing, jaw-dropping IPs, but the people that are in charge of pitching the ideas are stuck in really, really old methodologies and just don't understand what players want or what the market wants, and they just make a game because that's what was successful 30 years ago. It's like, well, I guess the IP is dead. People didn't buy the game. It's like, people didn't buy the game because the game was bad. No, it's the IP. People don't like the IP anymore. It's dead. Look at the sales numbers. They're bad. No, it's definitely because the game you made was miserable. I guarantee you say you make a new game for that IP, you put the right people in charge of it, there's hype, you know? Like, you say we're making a new game for XIP made by Platinum Games. People are pretty fucking hyped for that shit. Platinum Games has got a good record. Look at the shit they made. Oh yeah, we're talking good shit. There you go. Oh yeah, we're making a new game for this IP made by Nexon. People are like, no. Right? It's that concept. You make a good game for a good IP, people will come. You make a bad game for a good IP, you'll still get the diehards, but most people are gonna hate it. And it's not because the IP is bad. Like Ars Nelico 3, that's a good game. Like, sorry, it's a good IP, bad game. That game was a fucking wash. The story was okay at best. The graphics were terrifying. The overworld navigation was not very well handled, among other issues. It's not because Ars Nelico isn't enjoyed anymore as an IP, it's just the last entry for it was hot garbage. Same with Golden Sun. People love the Golden Sun IP. Every time I see even a mention of like, hey, there's a Nintendo Direct coming up, and so people are always, Golden Sun, Golden Sun, Golden Sun, me included. The IP is not dead. People really want to see more Golden Sun. Dark Dawn was a bad game with a good IP. I just really wish that these people that make these decisions, you know, played video games. It would make life so much easier. Oh, Boktai, yeah. Oh, I can't remember the name of the game, but it was the one on the Game Boy Advance that had like the solar panel built into the cart for certain mechanics of the game. That was so cool. I paid to roll the gacha, but I can't use the stuffs because I didn't print my stuffs. I need to pay to print them. See, that's where you need a mechanic change. If you have to print the card to use the character that you've rolled, then they would have to include some kind of service with obtaining a character. You get a character, you get the card mailed to you, but in order to play the game through whatever your choice of platform is, Steam, console, whatever, there's perhaps a subscription fee of X dollars a month. That way, if people decide to whale for a character, that'll pay for multiple people's shipping fees, and for like the free-to-play guys, right? And it kind of balances itself out, and that's kind of where the marketing team has to kind of pitch in. Or perhaps you actually just have a proper system where you don't need the cards to use a character. If you get a card shipped to you, you can lend it to your friends so they can use the character through the online system. All sorts of ways to do it. I know a lot of games that have used like dongle attachments for stuff. What was the name of the DJ Max game that released on PC? And to their DRM was you bought it and you got like a USB dongle that you had to plug in to actually boot the game. If they sold something like that, you know, and it has like a card reader on it, they could sell that, right? I would make up a lot of the money needed to ship cards out. Not all of it, but a good chunk of it. And that's the thing, right? Is there's always going to be people that are willing to pay for these kinds of services a lot more than you would think, right? And that's why when I talk about arcades in Japan and how FGOA, you know, it keeps getting all this good shit, but it could do so much better if it went global. I'm not saying FGOA is doing poorly. I know better than that. When a game does badly, it gets closed down. If it is still running years after its service launched and it's still getting constant updates and still getting new assets and stuff made, it's doing well. That's it. I wish it wasn't doing as well, so that it would die and all of the dev team stuff could be focused on Fate Grand Order proper. But you gotta respect it makes money. That's pretty much it. I really wish that they made it available for people outside of Japan that are willing to go to arcade cabinets. That's pretty much it. Was that the only... There's no way that was the only Boktai game. I could have sworn there was more. Like, wasn't it a whole, like, IP franchise? Or was it just the one game? Because I was significantly younger when I played it, so I don't remember too much of the details. I just vividly remember Game Boy Advance, Boktai Kart in the Game Boy, enjoying the sun, playing the game. And it was a bitch, because Game Boys back then, we had no backlight. It's a different dev team. Sega handles that. Okay, so when I say, you know, focus on FGO, example, Mother Harlot. Someone had to draw up the design, okay the design, send it to the FGOA devs, and then they worked on it. Instead of being sent to the FGOA devs, it could have just been used by Lesengle or Delightworks at the time to create Mother Harlot for Fate Grand Order. Instead, that asset, which probably existed for quite a while before it ended up in FGO Arcade, could have been used Fate Grand Order. That's what I'm saying, is if FGOA dies, all of these assets that are primed and being worked on or thought of being worked on or storyboarded for Fate Grand Order Arcade can just all be pushed to mobile. I understand it can be a real bitch for them to make new servants because of their sprite sheet approach, because making sprite sheets do stuff is extremely tedious, balancing stuff is extremely tedious, making sure the animations don't break is extremely tedious, but they kind of drew themselves into the corner with that one. If they had gone with the more standardized 3D approach, they could probably churn out units and stuff much quicker, because it's a lot faster to just mocap a person doing an attack move or something and porting that into the game over the sprite, versus paying someone to animate a sprite sheet to do the thing. What makes you think they have 2D assets before they make it to FGOA? Okay, so you've misunderstood what I've said. So when someone pitches an idea for a character, okay, they don't go, all right, we've created the assets for Fate Grand Order, here's what they would look like. I think it'd be better in Fate Grand Order Arcade. No. They storyboard the concepts, or whatever their equivalent of storyboarding is. They give a vague outline of the character, some design sketches and stuff, and they go, this is the general theme, this would be kind of their attack patterns, here's some example sketches of what we think their attack should look like, and we think this character would do really, really well. People go, yeah, that works really great. And that's kind of where it divulges. It either goes to Fate Grand Order or Fate Grand Order Arcade, and that's where the dedicated asset team would work on it. But all the thought processes and ideas, that's kind of what I mean. Like, we know that Mother Harlot was part of the original leak for Fate Grand Order way fucking back when. She was on the list, they had the name, the class, everything. Just strings, granted. But at least the concept was there, and they kind of had an idea what they wanted to do and include into the game. Fast forward many, many, many years, they ended up in FGO Arcade. Whether that was the original idea, probably not, because I don't think FGO Arcade was actually on their radar until after a couple of years of Fate Grand Order. Like, oh wow, we're making a lot of money. We should make an arcade game, because arcades are really popular in Japan. Before, you know, COVID came along and kneecapped everybody. What I'm saying is, if FGO Arcade closes down, all of these design concepts and ideas for characters, instead of being, you know, split apart, can all just go to one game, instead of, you know, arcade. I don't understand how Nero became a last boss in arcade, because it's Mother Harlot. It's not really Nero, it's just Mother Harlot in a young Nero's vessel, I guess is the way to put it. The Grail does weird things when it gets corrupted. There's a lot of questions you just shouldn't ask about Fate, and one of them is, why is the Grail doing this thing? The Grail does whatever the Grail wants. That's Fate. There's also Coup Alter, imaginary version of Coup that Maeve made. Yep. There are so many really, really cool designs for Fate that I feel like, even though I love the 3D models that Arcade has, like, I truly do like the 3D models that Arcade uses. They are high quality. They're really expressive of the character. They capture the character really, really, really well. Yeah, I'll never be able to use them. So my opinion is forever tainted in the negative about them. And it's just an unfortunate side effect. So. Alright, come on, boss, spawn. Probably need to shoot down one more ship, I reckon. Oh. I think I'll check PGR after it's. I'm pretty sure I did all of my PGR stuff today without even like realizing it. Oh yeah, thinking PGR, the new character they showed off in the Chinese client looks really neat, and they also added like execution moves to all of the compositors or transcend. Because I know in English they're called transcendents. I'm like, that's not what they're called in like other servers. What the hell was the proper name for them again? Complete brain fart, like I normally have. Actually, when is the Fate Grand Order stream? That's like tomorrow, isn't it? It's the day after. It's the day after, okay. Yeah, so... Oh, wait, no, it is tomorrow. Nice. And it's happening at 3 a.m. Lovely. Just what I always wanted, a 3 a.m. stream. Why can't they release it at more humane hours for us Westerners? I guess for PST folks, it's not that bad. That's like midnight. But, yeah. Do you still remember how many servants had lore info about other classes and we still don't have those? The original, like, leak, there were so many characters in there with so many classes. I'd have to go and dig it up to find it all again. But I know that we're still missing, if I remember correctly, like 10 to 12% of that list. While this boss is going, I wonder if I can find it. Not originally, then I have no idea what you're talking about. In-game lore book. Didn't get the in-game lore book, so I'm probably not the one to ask about that. Alright, last map for normal. And then I am burned out for today. Time to murder everything. The servant info that unlocks via bond. So, I play the JP version. I don't really speak or read JP. You can probably imagine why there's a little bit of issue with me trying to figure out what's in there that we don't have yet. You may or may not notice there's an issue here. Ugh. I think what I'm gonna do is just move my... Oh yeah, right, I need to order that channel switcher too, that's right. Yeah, I think I'll use tomorrow to order the hardware I need to adjust my stuff for the Nintendo Switch streaming. I actually want to upgrade my U rarity boats. Okay, so we'll do... can I uncap you? No, I don't have enough gold still. Oh, well. Ah, good. Finally maxed. On that note, I should get you 100. Do that. Ah, yes. My nemesis. Not enough gold. And now I have enough gold. And another bullet. Great, just what I needed. More shite in my inventory. Dock, you, limit break. And that way, you can actually get your stats fully capped out. There! Alright, cool. So she's handled. And back to what we were doing. Yeah. I wondered, anything in League on FGOG? That'd be interesting. Apparently not. No one's even talking about CBC. Interesting. Shota Kazura drop. Oh no. Oh no. Interesting. Alright, so that's the boss. I still got a few more boats to clean up though before I go and Terminator in a few seconds. What time is it even? Oh, it's already 10:30. I played about as much Azure Lane as I normally would Luminaria. 10 out of 10, except I got way more progression done in this, where I almost finished an entire event versus a single story chapter. Morinaga Yoshi, Berserker class. Yeah. It's... The biggest issue that I have with Fate Grand Order Arcade existing is it gives them an excellent way to filter off a bunch of like the alternate versions of classes onto another server effectively, right? Like we got Merlin, and then, you know, they got Merlin Prototype, right? We got Gilgamesh. I wonder what the chances are that Arcade is going to get Gilgamesh, the original Prototype version, right? Right? Like they got Tiamat playable. All right, cool. What about us? We've been waiting for Tiamat for like 4 or 5 years. Why did Arcade get it? Right? So whenever I see, oh yeah, this character has a really cool alter version, looking forward to that. It's like, oh, you sweet summer child. There's a 90% chance that because you want it, it's going to be an Arcade. Oh, no, Arcade. Proto Gil and Perseus will be under the Prototype collab. Yeah, sure, if we ever get a Prototype collab. Much like we've been waiting for the Tsukihime collab, but that was supposed to be like after the Tsukihime reboot, which has happened. But it could be at any time between now and Heat Death of the Universe, so... It is what it is. Yeah, that's the sad, unfortunate truth of playing Fate Grand Order. It is what it is. You just got to deal with the fact that there is a secondary server that has a very high chance of taking all the stuff you want, and there is no way to play it unless you are physically in Japan and willing to go to an arcade. It's fine, you know, it's a business decision, and it's clearly working out. It's just sown a lot of bad blood between the company and their not in Japan willing to go to arcade player base. Alright, sink the ship. Nice. Okay. 25%. I really need to have 4 more times to finish that. I don't think I got the mental capacity for that one. Screw it. I'm gonna go play something else now. After I claim all of my goodies. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What we got here? Oh, nice. Some more XP stuff. And here. Man, I'm really just low on money. No, I'm not. Problem solved. Okay. So let's do my 3 rolls on here for the daily mission. Auto claim, please. Nice. 3 junk ships. 10 out of 10. Anything interesting in the exchange? Hey, fish soup. Yeah. Okay. And... Okay. And you are able to be limit broken again. 0, 8. Nice. Okay. Here's my last little bit of event currency. All that's handled. Pick up that. Nice. 1 out of 2? What did I... Ah, yes. Skills. Pretty sure all of you are maxed out. Yeah, you are. It's literally just you two. Okay. Then I will invest in you for the event. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Come here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Okay. I believe that is everything. Yes. Okay. PGR, let's go! I'm really looking forward to Fern Knight. Starts in a few days. And I actually managed to get someone I know from the Luminaria Discord to try this game out just as the event patch is coming, so I'm happy about that. Personal goals. Get more people to play PGR. Yes, definitely looks like I did turn it on earlier. Did I do my challenge stuff today? No, I did not. And then did I do my pain cage? I think I'm done pain cage. Yeah, I have all my pain cage points. Cool. So I have the 1 war zone to do and dump my stamina. So I'll do the war zone and then do my stamina, whatever's left there. Cycle of fire. And gonna rock you. You are an element tank. And you are my heal bot. Okay. Let's go. Big slap. Yeah. I wonder if this will push me up to top 3. I'll have to figure it out once I see my score for the last map. Alright, and last area. The one that actually matters. Just swore I hit dodge, but okay. I'm not going to care too much about that. Can you see the fucking red circle if you're before it smacked me? Alright. Topped off on HP, did relatively well on wave there. I think I got to wave 9. Oh, I got all the way to wave 12. Nice. That's definitely a good positioning then. Not even top 3 though, yikes. Screw that then. What lead? I'm in leader? Yeah, I'll stay in leader, thank you. I don't want to go up to actual whale tier. That's too rich for my blood. And I think that's all the weekly cards. Yeah, cool. Alright, let's get the last little bit of daily tickets and then burn. Top 4 before you get bumped down. I actually don't think I will get bumped down, because typically when I start doing the last Warzone really late in the day, the scoring's pretty much stable. It's when you do it like right after patch time that you see your score typically drop. I'm almost curious. Am I supposed to just go across the bridge and ignore the mooks or something? Oh yeah, no, it's a timed event, right? Problem solved. Well, that's how it is, at least for the server that I'm on. If I do Warzone within the first 5 or so hours after not after patch, but after reset, so about anytime before 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to get absolutely rolled and my score is going to get pushed down most times. But if you do it later in the day or towards the end of like a cycle, your score is pretty stable at that point. And the chance of you getting pushed out is really, really, really low. People seem, at least in my server, to really like doing Warzone like in the mornings or right after reset. Specifically. So, alright. Now actually, do I have enough tickets to actually roll anything on here? No. Weapon research. Oh, hey, look at that. I got a free YOLO. Not anything useful. Surprise. Yeah, sure, I can go for another copy of Vera. Or try to, I should say. If anything, I just prime myself up for the next A-rank character banner. So, works for me. And unpack those. Unpack those. Okay. Cool beans. And time to burn my stamina. Cool. All right. I don't know how to feel about Rosetta's upcoming costume. It looks okay, or coating, I should say. It's not really my cup of tea, though. I'm probably just gonna wait for what comes after her. Actually, I think isn't that Chang Yu after Rosetta? Let's see here. Release order. We got Rosetta. Yeah, we got Chang Yu and, yeah, the new compositor. And then Luna. All right. Luna will be really nice. I wonder, should I do no, there's no point doing a gacha stream for Rosetta because I'm guaranteed to get her. So, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't even know if I want Rosetta's, like, weapon or anything. Let me see. Is it worth it? Where's Rosetta? Here you are. Gungnir. Oh, Oh, might be worth getting it. Ah, crap. I'm curious. Memory general. No. I want the memory sets. What is that memory, Li Xun? I typically don't do my research on new characters until like just before, because I'm a big genius. Oh, this is designed for her pretty much. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna need her weapon because she's a support that can actually do damage. Okay. Okay, that's fine then. And what does... I can't remember what Catherine does. And Catherine is 3 pings reduced. Okay. Yeah, for sure then I'm going to be getting her and her weapon. So I guess I will actually do a roll stream for Rosetta and her weapon then. And then do a little bit of the new event when that releases. That's going to be one hell of a crowded few days for streaming, but you take your lumps, is what it is. I'll have just enough to guarantee Rosetta because I did roll a little for Vera's weapon. Okay. Well, I won't be spending any on her costumes. That makes sense. Okay. What time is it? 1:45? Any mobile game that I can burn out really quickly. No, because I played everything today. Okay. Saw that how's your FG? I saw the Gits event started. Yeah, so actually I may as well turn on FG for a little bit. Um, so I've already cleared, air quotes, cleared the event. In the vein that I've completed all of the stages and collected all of the clearing rewards for it. Now it's just doing the missions, like clear bosses X amount of times and stuff, which is all time gated. But the event itself is actually really comfortable. I'd say I actually am kind of a fan of the way that the events work in Final Gear, because like they don't require a lot of input past doing, at least post that summer event was bad. That event was actually just terrible because you had to juggle so many fucking resources around to do content. This is so much more straightforward. We'll just sweep a bunch of times. Cha-ching. I think that actually gave me enough to trade for. Yeah, this is one thing that I'm finding really annoying with Final Gear is the amount of UI bugs is absolutely ridiculous. I wish I could run this, but I can't. Probably beaten the shit out of him enough times today. Yeah. Isn't it because it was an old event and they didn't bother to improve? Yeah, probably. Honestly, I don't really know or care. All I know is that when I started Final Gear, that event was in the middle of running. And yeah, it was a bad time. That being my first like exposure to this game was that event. The events that came after it were much, much, much better. But that one was pretty bad. All right, Redemption Shop. Let's get Bato. Yeah, doggy. Okay. And prize pool. We need to do more challenge missions for that. Clear that. Clear that. All right. And pilots. Where's old baddie? There you are. I don't have enough to max you. I think I was working on the major before. Yeah, I managed to luck out and get her after 2 multi-rolls. So, yeah, I stopped rolling immediately because I need to save everything for the first UR DPS that drops. I'm sitting at a very comfortable 45k crystals right now, so it's just a matter of time, and now saving that I have the one character I wanted from this collaboration event. I don't need her mech, because that's just overkill, but yeah. Just keep going. I don't even know if I'm ever going to use her, I just wanted to obtain the character because I like Ghost in the Shell. Okay. I think that's really it, because this game is really good for quick burns if you've already done all your daily stuff at least. Oh hey, purple. Nice. A breeze. And we'll take all these. I'll take your entire stuff. Oh, right, on that note, I'm actually at enough to craft another chip. Yes, please. Sub 40? Eh. Not really that useful. Okay. I should probably accept these and then do the send receives. Send all, receive all. There. Problem solved. Okay. Oh, alright. Well, with that, I'm going to wrap up and call it for the night. I've done enough. Done enough of my mobile games for now. I really want a new mobile game to come out. That Heaven's Burn Red stream was really, really fun to just play a new mobile game and kind of immerse myself in the experience. But like, there's just really nothing that's released these last few weeks. At least nothing worth playing, because I'm now really into you know, male dating sims or Clash of Clans clones or anything. So, anyways, yeah, I'll wrap up here. I'll be streaming again tomorrow, doing my Art and Ellico final stream for the week. Um, yeah. So FF7, I know how much people like FF7. Like a lot of people really like FF7. I'm not one of them. It was another JRPG. It wasn't at the time I played it anything stand out. It was just a game. I feel like a lot of it has to do with the nostalgia glasses involved in playing it when it originally had launched, because Final Fantasy VII, if I remember correctly, was the first like 3D Final Fantasy. Up to that point, it had all been pixel work, so it really mattered a lot in the climate that it released in. A lot like how Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was a huge deal when it released because it was 3D, even though the game itself is okay, right? So I don't really have much of a vested interest in playing Final Fantasy games. I'll take a look though at First Soldier. It's just I don't really pay too much attention to Final Fantasy VII releases because there's a lot of them, and none of them really click with me. Let's see, First Soldier. Ah, it's a free-to-play battle royale multiplayer game. That's why I have no interest and never heard of it. I've burned myself out on battle royale games. I played a lot of PUBG, when it released. Um, so that entire genre is no thank you. I'll pass. But yeah, in general, like I get the hype with a lot of like the older Final Fantasy games with like all the nostalgia and stuff, but it's got to be more than just like a Final Fantasy game for me, or Final Fantasy 7 game for me to like look at it and go, "Oh, right?" Like I know that the Pixel Remaster collection for Final Fantasy got released on Steam. And don't get me wrong, it looks good. Those are some nice pixel remasters. 100%, I'll give them that. But those games typically don't age very well. Typically. Some of them probably did age pretty well, but the problem is there's 6 of them. They are full-length RPGs. I don't have the time. The controls are really bad for touch play, better when you link with the controller. Oh god, yeah, no thank you then. Screw that. If I have to plug a controller into my phone to play a game, I'll dodge that. Like at the same time, if Punishing Gray Raven actually worked properly with a controller, I'd be using my PS4 controller to play it. But you have to map it very specifically because of the style of PGR. It works for Genshin, but the game's also much simpler. Um, but I'm not going to play a battle royale game on my phone. I'd rather play it on PC. Actually, yeah, there was a mech game. What was the name of it? It was a not a battle royale, but it was like an arena fighter mech game that I've seen popping around on Steam here and there. What the hell was the name of it? Store categories. Where's my mecha tag? Thankfully, there's very few mecha games on Steam, so it's relatively easy to find what you need. Um, huh. I'll do sci-fi and cyberpunk because can't find the mecha tag through the normal stuff. Mechs, there you go. Top sellers, because I have no doubt it's on there. I'll be able to see it. Yeah, Super Mecha Champions, that was it. I know that that game is relatively doing okay. And I saw it. First thing I saw was Super Mecha, and I was like, all right, sounds okay. Saw some gameplay footage of it. I was like, this looks sort of interesting, I guess. So I did download it, and I did give it a try. But, like, no. It's too... I hate saying it because it's obvious, but it feels way too arcadey for me. I've mentioned this. I know I brought this up and I know we went into a rather large talk about it, but when I play a mecha game, I want it to feel like I'm actually in a mech, not just in a big, arcadey person that looks like a mech. So, yeah, it's a shame too, because I'm still waiting for like a good mech game to release on PC, modern mech game, I should say. I was thinking like maybe I should play Titanfall, but that's too much first person, not enough mecha. Kind of defeats the purpose. Anyways, I've droned on long enough. I'm gonna wrap up. I'm gonna head out. I'll be on tomorrow, like I said, doing the Artelico stream. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Peace out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.